Hi, my name is Alain Boudreau and I'm a marketing manager in our clock and data management business unit at OnSemiconductor. Now we want to show how we can use the Clock Cruiser software to load different configurations using the I2C SMBus interface. The first step is to select the OmniClockI2C SMBus interface device and hit the Proceed button. On the configuration screen, we can decide to set clock 0 to 25 MHz, leave clock 1 at 50 MHz, and set clock 2 to 75 MHz, and then we hit the Solve button. And the software will create different solutions for this configuration. The software generates different configurations with different drive current and different jitter performance. The user then selects the configuration that is most suitable for his application and then goes to the Program Device screen. On this screen, the software is connecting to the evaluation kit and finding the device in the socket. The configuration file is shown, clock 0 at 25 MHz, clock 1 at 50 MHz, and clock 2 at 75 MHz. The evaluation board has been found by the software, and so has the device. We are now going to write this configuration into the device registers. When we write the device registers, the configuration that we've defined with 25, 50, and 75 MHz is now loaded into the device. We will now check clock 2 to make sure that we really have 75 MHz. Indeed, the frequency counter is showing approximately 75 MHz on the clock 2 output. Now we will show how to load a previously saved configuration via the I2C SMBus interface. In the Actions menu, there is a command called Write to Registers from File. In my file directory, I have 4 predefined configurations. I'm going to select this 4 configuration, which has 33 MHz on clock 0, 66 MHz on clock 1, and 100 MHz on clock 2. I'm going to load this file into the software and then write this configuration into the device registers. This configuration has now been written to the registers. So let's check to see that the configuration was written successfully. We go into the Actions menu and we run the command Get Configuration from Registers. This is going to read the configuration that has been written into the registers. On the readback, we see that in clock 0 we have 33 MHz, on clock 1 we have 66 MHz, and on clock 2 we have 100 MHz. Now let's go to the frequency counter to make sure that we have the current measured frequencies. On clock 0, the frequency counter is showing 33 MHz. On clock 1, the frequency counter is showing 66 MHz. And finally, on clock 2, the frequency counter is showing approximately 100 MHz. This concludes our OmniClock with I2C SMBus presentation. Thank you.